Hello, everyone. Welcome to Artistically Married, where art and opportunity collide. We're your hosts, Jake Ackerman.
And Brienne Steinberg. Did you forget who you were?
A little bit. Yeah. Do you want to do the intro on this one?
All right. Yeah. We are so excited. We have Laurel Minus and Taylor Hulley from Minuscule and so many other projects we're going to hear about today. We're so excited. They are both just beautiful musicians. So yeah, we're really excited to have you guys on the podcast today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, Minuscule has been on in our house for like the past month, like nonstop.
On repeat?
Yeah.
I reached out to Laura. I'm like, I need more music. Like, you're really going to have to give me more recorded music because my family is dying. It's just on repeat.
Awesome. That's so
but
nice.
I did find your, I was digging yesterday and I found your duet stuff. So yeah, at least it gives us more material for the next month.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Dig into that.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
All kinds.
Found you guys on YouTube. It's been good.
Sweet.
So yeah, why don't you take us through kind of your musical roots, what music looked like for you guys as kids, and how you became the musicians you are today.
Yeah, you want to start on that?
So my family was very musical. Both parents in bands a lot growing up. My dad plays keys. He played keys on the first album, has played a lot of shows with us. My mom was in musicals. And yeah, from a young age, my dad would just like play street festivals and just pull us up on stage and, you know, get us to just get comfortable with the idea of performing and singing backup, and my sister and I should say. So yeah, just kind of always present in my life. I didn't really start playing an instrument or performing live in a professional capacity until I met Whitney Peterson, Whitney Fowler, and she kind of like took me under her wing, and we toured around together for a number of years, and then that inspired me to feel comfortable and confident enough to start writing my own stuff. That's kind of where things started for me.
Amazing. And Taylor?
Yeah, kind of similar in a way. Like my dad was a musician, so he had he was like a children's performer in Hamilton.
Oh,
he had
my God,
a
amazing.
group back in the 80s, so there's always music in the house. And he got a drum kit for me when I was like 6 years old, which is a crazy thing to do to himself.
Yeah.
And then I got me lessons with a guy in Niagara on the Lake, Penner McKay. I'm not sure if you know him, but he had a barrel house drum company, so he used to turn old wine barrels into giant drums. And you just go over to his house, and he had a shed of like 1 billion drums, and you just go and just let loose in there with the drumming fools. And then I guess high school, just picked up the bass and was playing in a couple of different bands. And then eventually all the guitar players started having kids, and the gigs were kind of drying up. So I was like, there's only 2 more strings. I can figure that out.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
started doing cover songs and stuff and writing my own tunes, and so drums, bass, guitar, kind of
Play it all.
But I always feel like I'm a drummer at heart, because I mean it all links back to the rhythm. And
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm always curious who's music lesson kids.
Right. So my brother at that time got a guitar when I got the drums, and they sent him to the Royal Conservatory and like got him, reading music, and like, 6 weeks later, he's done with it.
Oh my gosh.
I went to Penner's house, and it's like, oh, you could drum on the walls, you could drum on the floor.
Kept it so loose that you were just like, didn't feel stifled.
Yeah, and I'm still doing it,
It's like a kid's crash room, you know, like those like demolish rooms.
Oh yeah, go nuts,
It's so fun.
When you have to formalize it, I think it kind of took a little bit of the fun out of it. So
It does.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to keep. We have 2, and they're both in music lessons, and it's hard to keep them motivated.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But having that foundational, like, theoretical knowledge, like, even now I'm wishing that it's never too late, obviously, but like that I had stuck with it, because I did a bit of piano lessons when I was really, really young. But having that knowledge now would be really nice.
I know.
But yeah, never too late, I guess.
I think it's an interesting thing with the theoretical versus the experience, because now they're both in music lessons, and again, watching them, I'm like a music enthusiast, not a player, but I think it almost, like, I don't want to say you'd assume that it goes collaboratively together, where like the passion and the interest are like playing musically by ear kind of goes together with the theoretical, but sometimes I think there is like one part of your brain takes over, the other part of the brain takes over. So I think there's benefits to both. That, like, you want the theoretical, you want the the science behind it in your brain, but I think that it almost like takes away a little bit from the creative, passionate, just play by ear type of player. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Again, I'm not a player, but I just feel like watching the kids, like, it's almost like at some point one takes over where they're just like, I already know how to play by ear. Why would I sit here and read this? I already know the language.
Yeah.
I'm just going to play, you
Exactly.
know? So yeah, I don't know. There's something to be said for both is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So can you guys tell us your meeting story?
Yeah. So my roommate Josh was in a band, and Laurel was the singer. It's called Minuscule. Majora, which I think you guys have stuff on the internet. You should check that out if you're jonesing for more Laurel.
Oh, cool.
It's like a 90s kind of grunge.
Very fun.
We saw Majora
band.
so many times.
Did we?
Yeah, I feel like. Did you guys play at Mansion House all the time?
A couple times, I think. Yep. Definitely Warehouse. Definitely like
Were you at Scene? Were you at Scene Fest?
I think I only played Scene once with Wit before it shut down.
Yeah, I saw Majora a few times. Yeah, amazing.
Very
so
fun.
So good.
Very fun. We did Livestock a couple times. Just kind of stayed locally. We never really ventured out and toured. It was just sort of a fun project. And that was like kind of the first thing after meeting Wit and, having like, what does it mean for me to kind of be the front person? Madge was like the first instance of that. And it was actually, that band I think was Wit's idea, where she's like, I just want to have like a weird sort of art rock band where like we all wear masks. And do you remember this conversation?
Yeah.
Like where it was meant to be just like weird for us all to just get our willies out and be whatever and then
that was our age too, right?
Yeah.
Let's see age let's be like, weird. Let's express ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah, just like early 20s, I guess, or mid. And and then I don't know what happened to that idea, but it ended up being me, Josh, Neil, and Stu in your basement.
So great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just hearing her down in the basement, I thought, oh man, so talented. I was studying at college at the time, so I'd be upstairs just like trying to read, but like, wow, who is this girl?
So
it's just so good. I love it. And then
bring us snacks.
Yeah, try and impress you.
Maybe if I feed her, she'll
keep her around.
Yeah.
So we started getting some, or I had some like solo gigs, and I was like, oh, we should do these together, I'll pay you, we're gonna make money. $50. We did enough
beers.
of those, and we used to play at the Outlet Collection Mall, like in the middle of the whatever walkways there, where they wouldn't turn off the
house
music. So
we
asked them multiple times, like, we can't turn it off, so we just play with Justin Bieber in the background and people wandering by. And
what was it? Collective Mall?
The Outlet Collection. So
by the college there off the highway.
Like just stick a musician like in the walkways between, and like it was a great way for us to kind of cut our teeth with the covers thing, because it was
low stakes.
Very low stakes, great tips, a lot of like Americans coming through. So it was sort of where we kind of said, okay, we both have these sort of original projects, but we want to play more, and we see that the opportunity to play more in Niagara, being a tourist area, is covers.
Yeah.
Our other project, people weren't interested, so that's where we were like, okay, let's get a set together, and playing weddings and things, a lot of that. Was sort of how we
play enough love songs together, and I don't know, she's like kind of giving me the eyes.
You fed her, you paid her, she's in.
Let's go, all right. And we were at the time dating other people, and then it's like, you want to do this? Okay. Pick up the phone, and then, we're going to need a place to live. So she moved in like the next day with her four cats.
Oh my gosh.
It was, and we wrote a song after called Lightspeed, which we will release
eventually.
Someday.
One day
on a hard
10
drive.
years ago now.
But just kind of about like, okay, we're doing this. Hold on, we're going Lightspeed, and it just felt right, and That was
good choice.
10 years ago.
Yeah,
so.
Good choice. Yeah, I think it's, sometimes like people do say, right, when you know, but I think it's really exciting. We're really going to get into what that means for your relationship to kind of have that like musical background. And I think having like a common ground for us too, like we have art always at the forefront. So can you guys kind of talk about that? How you, I guess obviously, it came from a foundation of playing music together, but how that plays a role in your relationship even still today.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically our extracurricular, if we're not at work, we're like playing music somewhere, or we have a little studio at home, so a lot of time spent working on that. We don't really go out to the movies or anything like that.
Yeah, we don't really like take vacations. We just like tour. It's like
people ask like, oh, you're going to, get married, have a wedding. It's like we do so many weddings in a year that it's like,
we feel like we're married.
We're doing it, like we've seen this ceremony a million times.
Rather than spend the money, we just go like, oh, I like those flowers. Oh, that's a lovely like choice of song. And we just like kind of have those constant moments of agreeing of like, yeah, that would be us. That would be us. Or, 5 years later, like, no, this would be us now. And having like that imaginary sort of wedding evolve in our heads. And then like, that was nice to think about.
Yeah.
Now let's go to Europe instead. Spend the money on that or,
Yeah, and I think that is like it's a new kind of concept that I've heard a lot from like our generation too. But again, I think it's even more prevalent if you are participating in it so often, right? Like seeing what it looks like, and it really is about the concept and continuing to like celebrate your partnership rather than actually spending a trunk load of money.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like we're missing out on it. It's like
exactly.
we've seen the vows and that experience is in our lives, so
over and over again.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Can you guys talk about? So I was saying before the podcast, it's always such a balance for people to be working with their art, and unfortunately in this society, in this climate, in this economy, we're always kind of juggling both. So can you guys talk about your 9-to-5s, your careers, and how you balance those and also your art at the same time?
I don't really have like a career the way that Taylor does, so maybe you should start because you have like
this. Right, yeah. So growing up in Niagara on the Lake on a vineyard, wine was kind of everywhere in the family. My dad dad and mom had a magazine, the Wine Regions of Ontario. My uncle was a winemaker. So yeah.
That's your parents.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, exactly. So I got into construction with my uncle because you don't want to do what dad does,
Right?
I would do anything but what they do.
And
how could you turn your nose up at wine?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You'd think, that's lame. That's what, the family's into. So,
right.
But you hang enough drywall and you realize like, okay, maybe.
Wine's looking good.
Wine's looking pretty good, yeah. So ended up getting a job at Coyotes Run Winery and worked there for 10 years. Then went to the college and ended up getting the head winemaking job at Coyotes Run, and then that closed. And now I'm the head winemaker at Stroon. And yeah, I mean, I think it's very all-encompassing, especially in harvest, and it's hard to like fit gigs in for that. But ideally, my dream is to like blend the two together. So I'm going to start putting more of a musical program going on at Stroon for weekends and bringing music and wine
they have
together.
A beautiful patio that needs to be used.
Fun.
Yeah, so I think, we've done some sort of wine and music pairing ideas too, where there's some research about how what you're hearing can actually change what you're tasting.
Oh, amazing.
So we've done these sound pairings before where like, okay, try the Riesling. Yeah, and then we'll play like that sound from Psycho, like, and then take a sip of the Riesling, and people are like, man, and people say, like it tastes sharper and more acidic.
The acids are way more pronounced.
Wow.
So, really trying to like flesh out that idea down the line, and I really want to turn Stroon's releases of wine into having a song paired with it. I mean, there's so much talent in Niagara. There's so many great artists, and to just kind of have a recommended, QR code on the back of like, hey, if you're trying this, smooth Cab Sauv, try this smooth jazz band with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's eventually that's going to be kind of where I'm working to, of like combining your work life with your passion, and I think there are a lot of similarities between the two things. So
Yeah, they're both kind of like a luxury thing, right? It's about the experience and like your feelings. And I think we are going to get more and more where, as humans, as we see the AI system, which I'm obsessed with, I think we're going to just get to lean into these like emotional intelligence situations, right? Where we're really understanding how powerful it is to be in touch with your senses and be a human, right?
Yeah,
So exciting.
absolutely.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it.
Wine has that ability to just kind of, like remove a little of the anxiety and, make people more willing to dance and, and be present and take these opportunities to listen to the musician and, experience the two things together. So I think, there's a good mix between those.
I feel all the exciting branding opportunities too.
Yeah.
Like the business owner in me is just like, oh yes,
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I would love to pitch to the winery of like, how, can we do a little virtual brand of Minuscule and like, let's do a Minuscule rosé and have the girls there like sing into the barrel as you're pouring the wine and, like all these. And then we could have, a merch thing, which is like a Minuscule rosé or red or white or whatever.
100%.
I mean, selling wine is often about the story, right? Like
Definitely.
the sandy soil of this or, we did a whatever ferment on it. So that's a story. That's something that kind of can connect it. Not only does this wine and this music go together, but like they were there, they were squishing the grapes. Yeah, to kind of tell that story and then not just have my work life be like over on one side and then, there's a line and now
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so
kinda,
exciting.
my goal for it.
Yep.
I think Laurel's work is a little more making money and having flexibility to.
Yeah, I have a sort of a weird relationship with music in that like I have kept it in the forefront and not allowed myself to really invest too much in another career. And at times it has made me sort of resent music because it's like, if I didn't have to prioritize this so much, maybe I would have been something else. Maybe I would have gone back to school. I mean, there's always time and I ebb and flow with that resentment and whatever. But ultimately, like work has just been like a paycheck for me. And I've just kind of gone through, 15 years of waiting tables and doing some bookkeeping and like customer service and like just to whatever has the flexibility so that I can keep this at the forefront in my life. Because I've always just felt like it takes so much of my energy that I can't really split myself. But I feel like I have more to offer. And I've been exploring in the last couple of years, like, who am I outside of this project, outside of being a musician? And I feel like I want to figure out those other facets to myself and find like meaningful work that is adjacent, whether it's like music therapy or something that, feels like it can travel alongside and not conflict and doesn't feel like I am... It feels like I'm still aligned, like, not having to just like put on my corporate suit and just like do a monkey dance for 8 hours a day and then go home and feel like, oh God, get it, wash it off me. Yeah. Something that feels like it is still me. Yeah. I'm figuring that out.
Cool. We talk a lot about this. I mean, just between the two of us, I think it ends up sometimes getting into like that frustration. Like you said, you have that like push and pull with your art. But again, I come back to the fact that I think it's a heartbreaking thing for me as an artist in terms of performing arts that in our society we're so tethered to like how we make money, right? When someone says to you, what do you do, and our answer is like, I'm a bookkeeper. I think that just like hurts me so much. And I'm watching my kids grow up and I'm like, I hate that people feel that push from society, that pushback of like, like how do you make money, right? And I feel like we are kind of getting away from like our what actually is your dharma, your purpose, like what lights you up is 99% of the time it's not what you do for money. So I think we get stuck in this cycle where that is like what we're taught from when we're little kids, is that you have to grow up and you have to make money and you have to be successful and you have to be rich and drive a nice car. And I think that it sucks that it goes on in our mind that we're just like, if I wasn't attached to my art, what would I be doing instead of the other way around?
Could be funded, like if that could be a viable, like I'm an artist, because there's money out there for art. Like everybody's so used to now, like but it's free. It's
Yeah.
like, no, it's only free if you choose to accept that it has no value. If
Yeah.
you say, no, I choose to, I know it's free out there, but I choose to pay for it, because I
Right.
say that like there needs to be a shift in the consumer's mindset as well
100%.
of like being willing to value it. So yeah, I'm with you. And like,
It's so
they're often not the same
frustrating.
thing of like, what do you
Exactly.
do and what are you passionate about?
Yeah.
Who you are.
Yeah, they often can't be the same,
Yeah.
which sucks.
I know, it sucks so bad.
trying.
We always talk about too, when you go back and you look at any time period in history, it's the first thing people talk about. They talk about what the art was like,
yeah, the
what the
culture.
music was like, what were
Yeah.
the bands like, what were the buildings like. You know, they're talking about all these. It's what we celebrate in our past, what we look back in human history, what we celebrate, and yet they're always the lowest funded.
Yeah.
They're the ones
Absolutely.
scraping by in terms of society. So.
Devaluation, yeah.
Yeah, and then we talk a lot about, you know, the corporatization of like, because somebody's making money. Nobody would go without their Spotify account anymore. We would all die.
Yeah.
And yet the artists who are putting all their stuff on Spotify are getting nothing.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's a frustrating part of our society. So I think it's really, you know, beautiful that you have done that and you've put it as like the most important thing in your life and recognized that and fought for it. Because I think a lot of times, you know, as artists, we end up being like, well, I want to, however, you know, I
Yes.
have to make money. So it always ends up on the back burner.
Yeah.
I watched my husband for the last 10 years do that.
Yeah, I got to change what I say. Like, people ask what I do. Oh, yeah, I build houses, but not like, yeah, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I do a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to change that question, you know, at a party or whatever. Not what do you do, but what do you like to do?
Yeah.
You know, like-
Who are you?
Yeah.
You know?
What are you passionate
What do
about
you
right now?
love?
What are you,
What
what's-
lights you up?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Currently, because it can change, right? Like, what was I was so into macrame like 2 years ago, and like, I used to like
Amazing.
arm knit scarves, and like it can fluctuate, but the things that like seem to stay with you forever, like music for us, like, yeah, that is a better way to frame that question. Like, what are you into rather than what do you do to pay your rent or mortgage or
Exactly.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And again, I really hope that that's going to be the direction that we go to as computers kind of take over some of these responsibilities that we do have. I'm begging the universe on a daily basis, like, please give us the time to do what we love to do instead of just trying to make us compete for like the tiny, you know, opportunities of responsibility that are
Yeah.
left. You know, just let us play. Let us have
Exactly.
fun.
Yeah, we
let us
need
do
the
what
AI
we
to
love.
make the art and make the music.
No,
Yeah,
I want the
exactly,
AI
right?
to do my taxes,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, keep my books. Cool. Okay, so we are going to switch gears. I do want to talk about Minuscule. So yeah, can you kind of tell us how that idea was born, how you guys ended up starting that band, and kind of what it looks like today?
Yeah, so I, after Madge kind of started to fizzle out, I needed to have an outlet, and I started sort of writing songs, and I don't play an instrument really proficiently enough to be able to like sketch it out on anything, so I just started like humming the lines to make chords and things, because I can harmonize that's like my instrument, is being able to do that really quickly. So I had GarageBand and a little Zoom mic and a bedroom that was pretty dead sounding, and I just started like kind of sketching these things out. And the inception of it was actually when we were recording the Whitney P album at the barn, and while all of the mics were set up, this was before I had GarageBand, I was just like, and we were done the take, like, okay, is that a wrap for today? I'm like, can you just leave them on for a second? Can I just record something and then record another thing so I can hear finally what it sounds like when these things are layered on top of each other? Because I had no way of doing that. And that was the first time that I heard Over You with every day I go a little bit long, with the one of these days you're gonna be, like, over top of each other. I'm like, it does work. And then I instantly was like, okay, I need a way to be able to do this. So GarageBand and the Zoom and whatever, and I wrote, you know, partial pieces of songs, and I applied to In the Soil Festival in St. Catharines with these like little snippets of songs, 3 little snippets, 10, 15 seconds of just like, here's a teaser. If you want to hear more, book the band. And I say band with air quotes because it was just me, just 8 of me, and like some sampled stomp, clap, whatever, and maybe a little bit of a ukulele. But like, so I got in and I was like, oh shit, I need to I need to
Build
write
this.
45 minutes of material. But it was the best fire that I could have possibly lit under myself to do it, of having a deadline, which I think often is all people really need. It's that accountability of like, okay, nobody's on me to finish writing these songs. Nobody's on me to, I need somebody to know that I'm trying to do this. I need somebody to hold me accountable. And that was the thing that did. But then I was like, well, I can't sing 8 parts at one time, so I need to find people. So my mom and my sister were easy to call, also very, very strong singers and harmonizers. I reached out in the community to people that I knew were, either gigging professionally, like Katie Gatta, Brittany Brooks, like people that I knew were capable of what I needed. I had friends, close friends that, I knew sang and were strong singers, Kat Lenarski. And then I reached out to my high school barbershop group, the Bobby Pins, who I hadn't talked to.
Bobby Pins.
I hadn't spoken to some in, a long time. A trio of sisters, the Miller sisters, Jill Smith, and just was like, this is what I'm trying to do. I don't know if it's going to work. But yeah, we rallied a band. And I came to Taylor and I was just like, I have these songs and I got into this festival and I don't know what to do. But I need instruments. I need to form a band.
Help.
I need help. What do you want to play? Because Taylor plays bass, guitar, drums, all equally with proficiency.
Right.
And he chose drums, so I was like, okay, now I need to find keys and I need to find and cello. We had cello originally too, and it was
Your dad was playing.
Dad was playing keys. I think actually Ben Phelan played on the very first in the yurt.
Oh, that's right.
That was our first gig. So they had a yurt outside in the courtyard behind the pack, and it was completely packed. It was like, I didn't know what to expect, but people were pouring outside of this yurt, and it was just maybe I will remember that particular performance for sure. But it was just sort of like, okay, let's see how this goes. And yeah, from there, it just sort of evolved of people would come up, we'd play a show and people would come up after and be like, is this an open call? Do you need more people? And the idea of you want to be in this? So that's how we Sarah Bureau and Leanne Vita, who are classically friggin' trained opera singers. Leah's got her PhD in voice. These people who are just this seems fun. I'm like, you're overqualified, dude. And then and me just reaching out and being like, do I have any tenors out there? Rita Visser comes, Vera Bierzuk, I got a low voice, Chantel, just of me just kind of putting the tentacles out into the musical community and saying hey, how y'all feel about choirs? And then, it just started to grow and grow and grow and grow. And as we went on, we got an offer to open for Great Lakes Swimmers on an East Coast tour. And he said, here's what you get. And for anybody who's wondering, an opening spot, $200. Maybe, it doesn't matter how big or small the band is. That's what it is.
So you got to figure out where you're going to allocate funds.
Yeah. Or are we okay with the idea of this is going to cost us money because we got to go fly.
A hotel room is $200.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So but are we down with the idea of the experience of
we get to do this.
We get to do this.
Yeah.
But we obviously can't do it as 20 people. And it rocked me, the idea of, well, no, that's just not what Minuscule is. People come to see the grandeur of this incredible wall of voices. That's what it is. And it was Taylor that was just it could just be you and a uke. You need to believe in the validity of these songs.
The songs, the
to
lyricism.
Stand on their own. And I could not. It was so hard for me to even say yes. And he was such a champion of dude, we're doing this. You're doing this.
Yeah.
Whatever fits in a car. So it was 4 of us. It was me and Taylor and Kat and Tara, and so it was keys and uke and drums, and that was it, and a couple voices. And the idea of paring it down was so foreign to me, and I felt, and that first show on the tour, actually, we did as a duo in Charlottetown at Trailside, because the girls couldn't come out until the next show, so they flew into Fredericton and we picked them up. And I was like, I can't believe we're doing this as a duo and calling it Minuscule. And from there to where we are now, I feel like has been such a journey in my own belief in myself and my music, and it was because we just said yes and figured it out to that tour of, okay, these songs can be really anything. Some of them obviously don't work. Like, I can't really do Over You solo. It doesn't really make sense. There's some where the choir, the other voices writing it with as an instrument, as a foil to whatever idea I am hashing out in my brain. Like, unless you have that other voice doing the call and answer, it doesn't make as much sense. So there are certain songs that I sort of wrote myself into a corner that I can't do on my own. But otherwise, like, now I feel like, okay, I could play a solo show and do some of these songs, or do it as a duo, or, like, I have really just softened my rigidity on what it is and what it can be. And it has changed so much over the years, and we've toured a lot now as five and gotten really solid as five, and it feels really good, and it feels like a much more collaborative thing, in that we share decision making, and we share workload and grant writing and festival apps, and just like everything is like all hands on deck. Whereas before it was very much me, and people always were saying, how can I help? But when there's 20 people saying, how can I help? I'm like, I don't know. Cut some cheese, maybe boil the water for the tea. Bring snacks. It was never a matter of there not being enough hands. It was there are a lot of hands, and it takes a very specific kind of person to be able to hit the road, and not everybody has the lifestyle to do it, and the capacity to do it. So I feel very fortunate that like the people revealed themselves that can fit it into their lives, and we're ready, and ready or not, like Tara had only done like, I think a gig before I was like, hey, do you want to like go out east on a string of tours opening for Great Lakes Swimmers? She's like, what?
I haven't left my house.
Oh my
God.
I guess. Just very, very thankful that it transpired the way that it did, and that Taylor pushed me to just be like, you're not going to say yes to this? Are you nuts? Like, let's go and figure it out, and then look at what worked and what didn't, and then at least you won't know otherwise. So it's been a journey.
I heard a couple things that really intrigued me. I think one is like, I'm a similar personality where I'm just like all inclusive, and when I'm excited about something and people are coming out and they want to be involved, it's hard as a leader to turn people away. Like, when somebody wants to be near you and wants to be with you, you're just like, I'll take everyone, everybody come, let's go, So I think that's really brave of you to have to kind of go through that evolution of like, it's just me, it's just my ideas, who's in, and then to have to scale it back and be like, okay, oh my gosh, I have to be picky. I have to be, introspective in terms of like what works for us and like what's going to work for this band and where are we going.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a really hard thing to go through, is like, everybody come. Oh wait, now I have to figure this out. Everybody step back for a second and give me a minute. And then the other thing I heard, which I think is so powerful, and we have this all the time in our relationship as well, is you get to have that mirror in your partner that like they believe in you more than you believe in yourself. Like, you need them to say to you like, it's 100%. Gonna be okay, we can do this, which I think is so powerful. If I don't understand how other artists go through it without having an artist as a partner.
I saw it from back when she was in the basement, right? Like, at that point it was just her voice, and so captivating, her lyricism, and so it just was foreign to me that wouldn't be good enough, because like from day one that was it. You saw it. Yeah.
And how didn't she, right?
It's
so hard.
Wild that like, what? You don't think this is enough? Like, no, you don't need anything other than yourself. And
I think too, as artists, we do kind of have those like visualizations of what we want it to be, and we have that idea in our head, and it has to be exactly like that,
interface
right?
with reality of like, yes, but you also want to tour, and you also don't want to, and you also want to pay everybody. Like, that weighed very heavily on me, even though everybody made it so clear, like,
they just want to be involved.
I just want to be involved. But to me it was like, but also if you're not paying people and you are just leaving it like, casual, drop in, whatever. You can't hold them to the same standard. You can't ask the same amount of them as somebody that you are paying, that you are, So having it be an open call every time, it would be like, okay, we've got 4 tenors and we've got no mezzos. It's just sort of like, I'm not going to make it on that one. Yeah, exactly. And the product couldn't be consistent. Like, I don't think we ever played a show with every member being present. Every single person. It was just like, somebody can make it, somebody can't. Can you switch parts on this one? Like, it was just constantly pivoting to try and make it work. And to have some consistency in the past couple years with this touring iteration, it's just felt like we can hone into a level that I was always craving but didn't feel like I could ask of people, because I just wanted to keep it fun and loose and I had no pressure. But there is pressure in order to be able to perform at the level that we really want. So I believe in this music, and I believe it deserves that level of commitment. So here's what I am asking. If you're in, you're in. If you're out, you're out. And we've had hard conversations, members that have come and gone that are just like, I love this so much, but I also know that I cannot give what is required in order to actually meet the standard. Yeah. And I don't want to dilute that at all. And I'm like, thank you for respecting me and this and them and your time too, of like, I want to do this, but I also want to do other things in my life, and I can't split myself in the same way. So it's just like, it feels really good to finally be in that headspace. Yeah, and I think there is like the performance element where you just want to keep growing as an artist, and you want to make sure that you're pouring all that love and energy and light into like people that are on board for the long run. And I think the other thing we talk about with artists a lot is sustainability. And like, again, we just talked about it, how depressing it can be that society puts all these economic demands, but it's a reality. So unless you address it and you get yourself to like an area where economically your band is sustainable, it's just not, you yourself aren't going to keep pouring into it, because you're like, I also have things to pay for. I have things to do that I want to accomplish. So I think it is twofold.
And like we were talking before about how our extracurricular world is this music. Like, economically, maybe we can't afford to go on vacation, but we can afford to go on tour. And if we want to have that in our lives, which is something we kind of prioritize, is being able to go around the world and see some things. That's why making a band that was like realistically able to fit into that, why that was kind of important to us. Because that's how we get our vacations in, subsidized vacations. We bought a very old country house in 2019 that needs a lot of work, and none of the work is getting done to it because this is like what we choose to spend our time and money on.
I have a contractor husband, and none of our work is getting done either. If it makes you feel better,
are your souls full? Yes, like we can deal with like our shoddy choices, sort of house,
old carpet.
It's keeping us warm and dry, but it's a constant dialogue of like, how do we want to allocate our limited energy and money? And also like, it's been really helpful having the other band members help me put a container around it, because it was everything. Like, my bank account was its bank account, and it was just like, okay, we need vinyl, credit card, and like it just like there was no limit. It's like, well, I got to keep the wheels moving on this thing. And over time, like Taylor, everybody in this tighter group was just like, you don't have to do this. Like, you're allowed to also have something outside of this. You're allowed to say like, there's not money in the fund. Like, do you have a band fund? No, there's no band fund. It's just like that.
It's whatever, my bank account.
It's whatever needs to be done is done. And so that's been a really important shift of like, make some separation between you as an autonomous person and this project. Give it its own personhood, so that when you say, what does the project need? Even if it conflicts with like, what I need, or what I want is to sing with all my buds and like never say no to anybody, and to be everybody's friend, and like to make them happy by facilitating. Like, some of these people haven't performed since their grade school choir. Like, how awesome is it to be able to just like, here's a stage,
give them this opportunity.
You two have never met, you both live in Niagara, and now you're singing beside like those. The joy I feel from those particular aspects of the larger group, like, oh my God, it also feels very aligned with me. But when I am able to separate and give the project its own personhood and say, what do you need?
what can you handle?
What can you handle, and what are your goals? And then to be able to say like, okay, I may want this, but it wants this. It's been a very helpful mindset to not feel like a villain. The death of joy. It's like, no, you have to make hard decisions. You have to say no to things. Saying no to certain gigs of just like, oof, that's going to cost a lot of money to do that. What would be the quantifiable goal? And for the most part, like everybody in the band's kind of on the same page of like, we're fine with a net zero to go like see the mountains, to go, you know, like, again, it's a subsidized vacation that we maybe couldn't have afforded otherwise, but like, to have that collective sort of decision making where it's not just me, of people saying like, no, that is a good idea. Okay, good. Or like, no, that's maybe not this time, maybe next year, you know, just some oversight of everybody sort of pitching in on that is really, really helpful.
Yeah, it takes the weight off
in
you,
the sustainability
right?
of it, right? Because you get burnt out. You when you throw yourself 150% at it, you can be resentful of your art when it becomes way too consuming. So yeah, making it more sustainable by just having boundaries is huge.
I see it as like the same way that I had my dance studio. I think like at the beginning it's a baby, right? And you're like, I will spend every penny on you. I will give you everything I have. Absolutely. Like take. I don't care. I got credit card debt coming out of the wazoo. These kids need new costumes. Let's go. You know. 100%. And then there does come a certain point where you're like, you're a grown up now. You're a big girl. You got to get a job. Get out there. Let's go. You know. Get out there. You can take care of yourself. But it is as a leader, as a caretaker, you end up kind of going through this evolution where, you know, you give and give and give and give, and then you do kind of find that breaking point where you're like, financially it can sustain itself if you make good choices and you create boundaries, but it has to, because you can't keep, you know, there's nothing left to give. I remember there was this moment 2 years ago where I said to my business of, you know, hundreds of children, I was like, I have nothing left. There's nothing left of me to give. So I think your evolution kind of sounds the same with the band, where you're like, I have to step away and you have to be your own person, right? You have to be your own like autonomous situation.
Separation for sure. And boundaries.
Yeah. I hope once this podcast comes out, if you haven't already heard of Minuscule, on repeat, it will be on repeat in your house, similar to us. But Taylor, can you kind of try to walk us through some of the genres that you would identify Minuscule being under?
Right, yeah.
It's so eclectic. It's so dynamic. Ugh.
It's very tough to fit it into one box, for sure.
Yeah.
Like anytime Laurel says, I got a new song, I'm like, spin the wheel. What's it going to be? You know, like, there's jazz, there's rapping, like really lovely ballads, which has been a struggle for us of like, you know, these applications for festivals, it's always, what's your genre, right? It's like, oh man, what
question mark.
You know, we've been kind of calling it pop, I guess, because that's a very big catch-all.
Just a big umbrella to kind of put it under,
which is also, it's like saying something without really saying anything either, though. It doesn't really help to define what it is.
For a while it was choral pop, but then I thought, well, everybody in their mind sort of has this connotation of choral being choir, being large ensemble, and I don't want to give that impression if we're going far away and it's going to just be 5 of us. But it does have that large sound, even, you know, with 4-part harmony of 4 people. It does have that, and the call and answer, you know, of choral singing. Like, so it's been really hard to, I don't know.
There was lately like applying to jazz festivals, because I mean, what is jazz, right? It's such a very liquid sort of tag to put on things, but there's songs that have really challenging chords, and I think we shouldn't limit ourselves to be like, we can't apply to a jazz festival, you know, we're not jazz. Who knows, you know, like
let them decide.
We've got, what was it, the Tofino Jazz Fest that said yes, and so it's good to put yourself in a box, but it's also, you know, like, don't limit yourself to
you can't be everything to everyone, but also you.
But then pitching for like what's the Sirius XM radio stations? It's like, which radio station would we fit into, right? Like,
depends on the song.
Exactly, right? Pitch to a country station for certain tunes, or So, it's an ongoing
ongoing
challenge
battle.
for us.
The only kind of good thing about, I think, the music industry moving away from, I don't want to say moving away from, because there is still, people are getting back into vinyl and the idea of the album as a cohesive thing, which is lovely. But you can put out singles and you can treat them as their own individual thing with its own microcosm of promotion that is specific to that, which makes promotion a little bit easier of like, let's just focus on this song. Where does this song fit? Not the entire album, not the entire repertoire of the band. Like, this song, where does it fit on a pump up playlist for working out? Or this one is like sad songs to listen to on a rainy day, or like it has its own personality that you can point it in a direction a lot more effectively. So I appreciate that about the current musical climate landscape. There aren't a ton of things I appreciate about the current landscape, but that is one of them. The freedom to be able to just like let a single fly free in its own direction and have its own path.
And I think as much as, just putting it in a category could be a challenge. I think as an artist and as like a listener especially, it's so exciting to be able to put it on an album, and every single song, to be able to evoke all those different emotions all within one album. Maybe it's just because I'm a dancer that I'm just like, this is amazing. I didn't have to change the album. I was able to do lyrical, contemporary. I did a tap. I did a jazz. Like, it was so good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
We've had people like at festivals and stuff say like, oh, we came to check out your band and we had to stay because, after the third song, we're like, what's the fourth one going to be? Like, it's not like I figured that band out in a couple of songs.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. Yeah, you got to kind of stick around to see where.
And here's another left turn. And here's another left turn.
Yeah, every song I'm like, oh, it's kind of like this. Oh, that's like totally like, it's so, the diversity is just amazing. Which, I think it keeps people motivated. It's so exciting. It's awesome. I guess on that note, what are kind of your musical inspirations? What music are you guys into? Do you have like a favorite band? I'm sure it changes all the time.
I mean, our tastes are somewhat similar, but a little different.
We have a bit of crossover, but your
I like the funk and
your roots
groove.
are
a lot of like Tower of Power
James
Brown, Chili Peppers, and a lot of funky groovy stuff. Anything that you can really nod your head
Love
to.
The bass.
Yeah,
get that bass.
Yeah,
I promised him on the next album that we would have a funk tune in there.
Amazing.
Just because
for these festival gigs, you get people dancing. You want to have that 4 on the floor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I like doing that for songwriting. Is like, I'm going to just put a box around myself so that it's like not as vast, and saying like, okay, I'm going to sit down and write a funk tune is a nice little bit of bumpers to put on the situation so that you don't feel lost in all of the vast options of what music could possibly be.
Right.
That's a good exercise for me. So yeah, I like those. Like, what did TJ say last night? We played a house show with TJ Rogers, Billy Rogers, and he does the same thing.
I went to high school with TJ.
Nice.
What a beauty.
He did a beautiful set. Very
so awesome.
And it was a great room to be able to just like, we tried out some new songs that like literally finished writing that morning.
Amazing.
Just because it felt like a safe space, and he did the same thing. But he said like, I do the same thing where I'm sitting with my friend and be like, tell me an artist to write a song like, and she's like, Dolly Parton, and he's like, so here's my Dolly song. And he does the same, in his own style. And that's, there's a song on this upcoming album that was me saying like, I want to write a song like Joni Mitchell, like in that she just poetically lets lyrics fall, sort of not overly concerned about iambic pentameter and the number of syllables, and like it just flows. Like Alanis Morissette does that too, where she'll just like let the stress fall on the unexpected side of a word, and it's just that sort of, I said I want to write a song that has that freedom of just sort of poetically falling wherever it chooses to. So yeah, I like that, putting that box around it, but we don't have any sort of like funky kind of things yet. But that's sort of your love.
Yeah.
You grew up though with also like Burton Cummings and
for sure. And locally, like Steve Goldberger and the Fringe locals. So my mom worked at the Angel Inn, and She'd bring me in and sit me in the corner and say, "Don't talk to anybody, just watch the band, and here's a beer." And yeah, those guys were so inspiring, and they played all kinds of covers and rock, and definitely. I mean, in terms of my songwriting, I'd say Bahamas is a big inspiration for me.
That's one that we definitely share and love so much.
They're so good.
And as a performer too, he just like, he engages so effortlessly, and we've seen him at Budweiser stage, we've seen him at Sanctuary solo, like all different iterations, and just like such a smart songwriter. So I'd say that's one that's on in the house a lot for us.
Cool.
In particular. I grew up listening to musicals and like show tunes because of my mom. So that has a very, special place in my heart. And I think that kind of shines through a little bit. And there's a theatric aspect that I don't shy away from. We can do ballads, we can do emotion, we can do like drama. I'm not really afraid of that. But like, I also really loved pop when I was the perfect age for that sort of like late 90s, early
Spice
2000s.
Girls, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC.
And just like that R&B, Brandy, like that kind of
at that time.
Yeah, totally.
And Brandy,
and Fugees and like that kind of, that was the first sort of like girl power genre that, and I was again the perfect age for it. So it really stuck with me. The idea of music being empowering and being a vehicle for just like getting back into your power. So yeah, that's a big one for me. And also just like jazz, like I guess not jazz, like Motown, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can hear that with like all the gospel stuff, right? Just like all the layers of voices. And
whenever we like put on house music in between sets when we're just playing cover gigs, we have this like Motown playlist that no matter where we are, it always hits. It's never inappropriate to throw on some like Marvin Gaye or like
B.B. King.
It's always going to be okay.
Yeah, it's true. You never hear people being like, "Oh, I don't like this." Like Motown, just like
exactly. It's going to be fine.
It's amazing. I think you brought up Alanis Morissette and Joni Mitchell, and kind of like that is, I think they both have this ability to like, you're hanging on every word, like you want to know what they're gonna say next, and I feel like you do have that. Like I think Minuscule has that ability where like I just couldn't look away, like I just wanted to know what was gonna, what the next sentence or word was gonna be, and we're gonna talk about it later, just the imagery that it creates. Like you can just see the story playing out, you can see how this character is like feeling this way or responding to the situation that she's in. So yeah, I think you're nailing it.
I felt that yesterday with the new song that you brought out, where it's like kind of talking about toppling the oligarchy, and then you slide in a line, "Then they brought me soup the day Nana died." And it's like, whoa. It just kind of like humanizes it, and it's just like a line that like, I don't know, stuck out to me.
Yay.
So good.
That's
nailing it.
I was like, whoa, where did that come? But it also like really evoked this feeling of like,
and then you're like, you're right. You would be hungry after you're going through this. It's just like, the ideas behind the lyrics are just amazing. That was my next question, was kind of, how you're, how you got so comfortable being this emotional and being this vulnerable, and how cathartic is your music to your personal life.
Yeah, I would say it was the gateway to me figuring out how to feel things. Like I didn't really start going to therapy until like a couple years after starting this project. But I see the parallels of writing music and the act of like getting into your body and allowing yourself to feel the feelings and processing what it actually means to process things. And what I was already doing by going to songwriting to do that. And you can over-intellectualize problems in your life and try and like logic your way out of it and just like try and understand the reasoning. But at the end of the day, you have to cry and shake and scream into a pillow and physically let it move through you. And that is what performing is for me. And that is what songwriting is for me. It is just like a version of that going for a walk or ecstatic dance or whatever it is to move emotions through your body, it's this. And once I found that, I felt like I could not possibly gatekeep that. And to share that with other people, the amount of times that like people come up after and say like, it gives me permission to be sad or be happy or feel empowered, or, you know, like that's kind of the purpose of it, is to not, you know, grade emotions on any sort of scale where like happy is the best and sad is the worst and we want to avoid those things. It's like all emotions are welcome. There is a seat at the table for every possible aspect of you as a person and experience that you may have. They are all equal and they're all welcomed and they're all worthy of exploration and worthy of a voice, because like that is the full spectrum of human experience. Like to avoid suffering is so futile. Pull up a seat for your suffering.
Yeah.
And just like that's what makes us human, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I like that imagery you were talking about like having a table and like visualizing all of your different selves, you know, your rational bookkeeping mind sitting next to your like, I want to go dance in the rain person, and just like, but as a visual exercise to like look around that table and be like, who's here?
Who's coming today?
That is an
Who's here
exact
today?
exercise that you do in hypno, and it's one of the first. It's a parts exercise, and I didn't realize I was already kind of doing that in songwriting. But it's like, okay, who's directly sitting in front of you? And when you're in that lucid state, it just falls out. You don't even like think about it, and it's like there's you know a woman in a suit, and then to her left like is, you know, in this zip up PVC leather, like with like bondage sort of like, there's all of these people there, and it's so easy to just like blah, 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 fan out you as a person into all of these different aspects, and it just like appears. But not saying like, this is my favorite part. They're all here. They're all, whether
They're
you
all
like
parts
it or
of
not.
you.
I feel like when we talking about what genre, how do you market yourself? How do you like describe the music? Something that I keep coming back to is like this music is not escapism. There is some music that it's like meant to just throw on and like forget your worries and just dance and whatever. And that is cathartic in a way. But this is like, no. We're gonna be sad on purpose. We're gonna grieve on purpose. We're gonna welcome these feelings, not when it's inconvenient, not when it washes over us at a time like, oh God, no, I don't have time for that. We're doing it as a practice so that when it does come, we have the tools to be able to like, grief, welcome, I see you, thank you. You know, it's just a practice that once I started getting into it, I couldn't possibly imagine being without it. And being able to write songs when hard things happen, friends passing, you know, whatever, and not even really ever intending to share those songs, but then having people say like, this is important, you should. Like,
we're all grieving. We're grieving together, you know.
Exactly.
We're all dealing with things. So
yeah, it's been huge to have that kind of response of like, I feel seen in my grief by hearing this. It's not too sad, you know, like you worry about, and certainly like there are songs we have that we can never play on a festival stage. It's just not appropriate.
you're like, I will bawl my eyes out.
Yeah, it's just not
in front
gonna,
of all of these thousands of people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not going to be the appropriate time. But at house show, or in, you know, often festivals will have workshops where it's a smaller sort of, you know, songwriters in the round talking about their songs. Like people come, it's a listening crowd. Yeah, then you do bring up those songs. Then we all can cry together. There's a separation in the breadth of material that some is appropriate somewhere, some isn't. But I don't think it's a better or worse thing. It's just like that is the full scope of human expression and experience. Is that like the pain, the joy, the sorrow, all of it. It's all here. It's all welcome. It's you can't avoid any of it. You shouldn't avoid any of it.
Yeah, I think it's all like part of the process. And I think we're coming to like, I'm seeing it with like really young kids all the way up to like our age. And I think it comes with a maturity, but I'm really seeing like an entire population of predominantly women that are just trying to hide these or make them go away. They're bad feelings and they just want to take a pill and make it go away, or they want to, like you said, just kind of erase it or move away from it. And I think it's, music like this is a really great way for you're doing it as an artist, you're doing it as like your own form of therapy or your own form of processing, but then it really does get to translate to the audience, where you hope that like they're going to take some of these lessons and learn how to use music, even if it's like the listening, they're getting the same type of like form of therapy. I tell my dancers all the time, I'm like, I get it, you're not having a good day, sit in the suck, feel it, and then go dance it, use it as your tool, use it as your fuel, and embrace it. Stop trying to erase it, because I think we're coming into this time where like nobody wants to have bad feelings. I'm depressed, I'm sad. Okay, great. Like, let's use that. That's you're human, and then you get that beautiful experience. You get the opportunity to feel those feelings.
Exactly.
Whereas like, you go ask a frog, they're not feeling those things, right? So I think it's really powerful for artists like you guys to come out and again, it's that permission, right? It's like giving specifically, I know I'm being sexist, but specifically women to be able to have that like exposure and experience to like feel those bad feelings.
It's funny that you say that, because like when I feel the most like, yeah, we did it, when men come up to the table and say like, oh, you got me teary a bit there. I'm like, yes, okay, good, because like it is so unfortunate that the patriarchy has damaged men as much as it has women, in that like you're not allowed to have emotion, be a man, don't cry, and like what a narrow scope men are allowed to have in their life of like what they're allowed to experience. They gotta always just be strong, and like we were saying this last night of like how vulnerability is the new strength. It really truly is. And I think that's also like a big shift that we've had in the band, is like it was women singing about me from my lens as a woman, and being supported by players that are men. And now we're moving towards like Mike and Taylor singing too, because like what we're singing about is not unique to any particular gender, or like it is and trying to break that division of like there is any sort of verses going on. It's just we're just people. You are allowed to express and feel the way that anybody else is, and that permission is extended. I think that's been huge, because there are certain mandates that festivals and organizations have for inclusivity, of just like, we need to include more women, more minorities, more this, or like, and we checked that box for a lot of or festivals, I'm sure, of just like female led, but to me it also was kind of missing the piece of feminism is about everybody having an equal seat at the table. Totally. And for there to not be any sort of barriers or division in how somebody's allowed to act but another person isn't. So that's also been really important in the last couple of years in shifting towards like it's not just women singing about women's stuff. It's humans singing about human stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. So I just wanted to talk about 3 songs specifically. Like I said, it's been on repeat. The album is incredible. I'm so excited for new music. But yeah, there was 3 songs. The first time that we ever heard you, you had kind of told the story about Great. I was telling you before the show, I was pregnant at the time with my son. And just, standing in that crowd was the first time I heard you and just bawling my eyes out. So can you tell the story about writing the song Great?
Yeah, my sister was pregnant with the first grandbaby of the family. None of us had ever really been in the role of, my sister had never been a mom. I had never been an aunt. And our other sister also had yet to have her kids.
Your parents being grandparents.
My dad having to choose, he wanted to be called Grandolph. which, like, amazing.
Amazing.
But how do you expect a 3-year-old to say grandpa? Like, it's not gonna happen. So he's grandpa, but like honorary grandolph. And my mom, you know, Oma, and I'm Tanta Lala, and we have Tanta Mumu, and like it just like this is now something that you're adding to you as a person. And what do I look like as that role? Anyways, my sister, of course, was. Oh my God, what do I do? What do am I going to be good at this? That's kind of, I'm sure, a really, really common fear that a lot of new parents have is like, I just want to be the best possible. But what even is best, man? Like, there is no like, I won at parenting. Like, it's and it's gonna change constantly. It's gonna like you're gonna be like, I really duffed it today. I didn't, you know. And you just have to. You just have to do your best. But knowing who she is as a person, knowing who her husband is as a person, like, I didn't know how to convey to them other than in song how much I believed in them. And like, you have got this. It's like so well. And we are all here on the days that you feel like you don't got it. And from that, that song kind of translated into just sort of an anthem to help people believe in themselves and believe that like, you've already done it. You're already great. So like when you go to do this thing, your greatness is going to be imparted onto that thing. And we've heard of moms playing it in delivery rooms. We've heard of like, there is a video of somebody reached out. There was a wedding happening. They performed it live and they were like musical theater people. So there's like they rearranged it for, you know, a certain number of voices and they sang down the aisle of like when your songs.
I haven't seen this.
It's I'll have to find it
awesome.
on Facebook. But yeah, this woman just reached out of like, I love this song. I want to walk down the aisle to it. My wife is like, we're also like musical theater, you know, kids. So like, can we do this? And I was just like, oh my God. I sent her this sheet music and like all of the isolated parts. And like, there's been a couple times there's a choir in Kitchener that's going to perform it. Like the fact that it has legs to move out into the world and be meaningful to people in that way is like, it is the most that I could ever hope for a song, right? Like if it does the thing, it's doing the thing. It's out there helping people believe in themselves. So yeah,
I feel like you should sell it to Huggies.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
Like a Huggies commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, every time I listen to it, I'm just like, I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing.
It.
I'm not failing today.
Taylor designed these beautiful stickers. Oh, I don't have my water bottle. Anyways, we should have brought some. And they just say, you're already great.
Oh,
and
so
it's
good.
like, I gave one to my coworker who was just like, new at the job and just trying to figure it out. And I was just like, you're doing it, bud.
Yeah, you got this. Yeah, I love
just
it.
like tap my water bottle every now and then to just kind of remind, you know, you're already good enough, whatever good enough means. Like you already are. You're just improving on an already excellent thing. So yeah, that was, and we have that little baby's birthday to go to after this. It's pirate themed.
It's pirate themed. Amazing.
So Cassie is.
Well, and Erin, your sister, is also a dance instructor. So
I
don't know if maybe that was resonaning with you as well. That line of look at all your dancers.
Yes. The last verse, or the second verse. Yeah. Look at all your dancers is playing that you're going to be great because like she had already been in that role of just like teaching and leading a bunch of kids and like she was so good with them and it was just sort of a way to be like, you already have evidence in your life that you know how to do this. So like, don't ignore that.
You're already a mentor. Yeah.
Exactly.
Love it. The other song that I wanted to talk to, so I was driving to work the other day and it's been on repeat. And I was driving to work and I heard the song Jordan. And I was like, it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is probably about our late friend Jordan Rutledge, which he battled with mental health. Can you just talk to, writing that and kind of what that meant for the community around us that all just, celebrated him in so many ways and just couldn't figure it out and couldn't fix it.
Figure it out. Yeah, it was... It was Oscar that called me, and we were on our way back from a gig, and I was kind of in shock, and we were living in this weird empty mansion at the time on the Coyotes front property, just to kind of keep it from getting graffitied and the rats out. So the reason I say this is because like it was a massive house that we were just sort of shepherding and taking care of. But it was so cavernous, it was so empty. And I happened to have the day off the next day. And I remember just sitting in the living room and the total like emptiness of this massive house felt like it was mirroring that feeling. And I didn't know what to do to like, I don't know, shake, cry, get it out, process it. And this was kind of the first song that I ever wrote that was pointed towards like, how do I process this? And it was meant to be an exercise just really for me. But then I sent it to a couple close friends of his, and just to be like, I did a thing. I know you feel the same way. So I know you'll get it. And it was one of those people. It was Brian, it was Chunk, that was just kind of like, put this out, man. Like, why the hell not? I get that it's vulnerable, but also like, how many other people are going to hear this and feel seen in their grief, however it may be in their life? Like, and it was the first like, okay, I'm being really vulnerable here. And the wave out from that, anytime that we play it, and we don't get to play it very often because again, like it's not
so sad.
It's not something you can really do on a festival stage at 3 p.m. with a bunch of families around. So we don't get to play it very often, but when we do, it is the song that really gets the most people coming up and just like, thank you, and them reaching out and saying like, this makes me feel like it's okay to be sad about this. I don't need to like, oh God, nope, can't, don't let it wash over you. Purposefully do, because like grief is just the love. It is just like, the you feeling that love and knowing like, oh, I can't tell them anymore from this moment on, like how much I love them. So like, it's that feeling of like, what do I do with this love? Like, how beautiful is that? What do I do with this love? So that song was the gateway to like, okay, I'm going to be real. From here on, like, no song is off
too
limits.
Sensitive,
It's,
too scary,
exactly.
too fearful, too painful. Yeah.
Because ultimately, like, whatever I am afraid of by going there is such an unnecessary shackle, and doesn't translate into whatever stupid fear of being judged, or like, what the hell do I care about that? It's the connection that I make with people after being vulnerable like that is so worth it, and them feeling like they have permission to feel those things. So yeah, it was meant to just be an exercise and a catharsis for me, and it ended up being like the gateway to so many other things. But I just wanted to sort of honor that feeling and what he meant to so many people, and also that feeling of like, what the hell do we do now?
Yeah,
what do we do now?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it definitely opened a lot of doors for me mentally after, and there was that album that was put together afterwards, recorded live at Oddfellows, where everybody brought a song for him, and we brought that song, and it was just me and my mom singing it.
Yeah.
In the cavernous space of Oddfellows, and just kind of like just singing it and crying. And I think we just did one take, and Joe was like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yep." And that's it.
Yeah.
And it feels like such an important thing to do, to honor people. With music.
Ugh, such an amazing guy. And I think it's just it's such a powerful ode to the community that was so broken by it, that like we have that way to commemorate. And just I think when you're left behind after those things, you're just afraid to forget. You're like fearful that you just want to keep, and it's weird because it is like a feeling of like, I want it to go away. I don't want to feel this pain, but like I never want to forget him, and I don't want to forget like what he meant to me. So I think it's a beautiful, like ode to him and how much he meant to all of us. So
and kind of the way it ends there of like, if there's anybody out there who feels like giving up, like it's kind of also
a call out to like, please, if you're feeling
yeah.
this way, like please come to us. Don't ever let this happen ever again. Awful. So the last song I want to talk about, thank God, to end the grief of that one, was Rising Up. My daughter is 10 and just can't stop singing it. She's got her arms over her head, and like she's just like ready to take on the world.
That's so awesome.
So yeah, can you talk to us about your new single, Rising Up?
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote it quite a long time ago, and I feel like I was really, I don't even remember like what I heard. I think I heard something that was going on at the time in maybe policy, or, there was an oil spill or something that, and I just like, I was so angry. And I think it really comes through like lyrically in that song. And I feel like I have a different perspective on it now, where anger can feel very powerful, where versus like the stagnation of depression, where there's mobility in anger. Like it feels like there's energy and drives you to like, let's do something. I'm angry. But also I feel like there is a wide breadth of emotions that you can feel about the current climate crisis, and anger is definitely one of them. But I don't want people to feel like there isn't hope, because there absolutely is. And it can be on a micro level, but the macro is kind of the most important, and that is in policy, and that is in the larger systems that have the most impact. Like, we can use our mason jars as much as we want, but like ultimately there needs to be a systemic change. So I think it was more so speaking to that of like, yes, continue to do the things in your day to day that can lessen, your impact, but also use your voice. Ask for that systemic change. Like, you have so much more power. We collectively have so much more power than we give ourselves credit for. And I think it is a purposeful symptom of the current system is to make you feel powerless, so you don't use your power. And that is it's just not true. It's there have been so many examples in history where we have come together and just said, this sucks. What's next?
We're done.
We're done with this. This is not working.
This.
Let's, wade through the temporary discomfort of trying to figure out what the next thing is, but let's all just be on board with like, this is going to be uncomfortable for a little bit while we figure it out. Everybody cool with that? Okay, let's on to the next. So I think we're kind of at that cusp with a lot of different things.
Me too.
In humanity. So I think it feels like a good time. Felt like a good time for that song to kind of come to be, and I'm really glad that it's making the rounds of making
motivating.
people pumped up. Whit sent me that too, of just like her son also 10 and he said he's got everybody on the soccer team listening to it, and it's just like their pump up tune, and I'm like, that is the most meaningful, that kids are like,
we feel it,
and they feel that responsibility of like, this is our home. We only have one. We have to be mindful in how we take care of each other and our homes. So I hope that we can figure it out. I really hope we can.
I think it's wild. We go to a lot of concerts, and I'm sure you guys too, or you're on stage in front of all these crowds. And I think it is so powerful for musicians to have that voice and try to empower people. Like, you, again, as an artist, you only have so many words and so much time in your set. But I think using it to empower, you have huge groups of people in front of you, and you can feel it. You can feel their like collective energy when we're all together in these big rooms, and we're like, we all want it. We want it so bad. We don't want to have to be like this. There's so many things that are like being imposed on us that we feel it as a collective. So I think it's really powerful as, somebody who has that kind of leadership to really invoke that kind of like motivation and to be able to like use anger to make change and be able to just to like, you know, get people riled up. I think it's really important. We don't have a choice right now. Like we're, like you said, it's just so many things coming at us on a very local level and also on a global level that like our kids are up against a lot right now. So I think it's important for all of us to start having these conversations in big collective places. So I'm excited to see all the places it's going to get used. Actually I reached out to you about using Lukewarm Love. We're using it for our adult dance class, but again I was just like playing it in the studio, and one of my teachers came up and said, can I use Rising Up? And we have this. I started the studio 15 years ago, and I always just put this like own pressure on myself, I think, to really dig in and explore a ton of music that I would never use the same artist twice. So my teacher knows this. She's been with me since she was little, and she said is this an exception to the rule? Can we use the same artist if it's the same year? And I was like, yes, it's fine. Go ahead. So we're going to see 2 Minuscule songs in our dance recital. It's going to be great.
I'm so excited. That's awesome.
So fun.
That's awesome.
Okay, so we're going to take a break. We are going to give you guys a big treat. We're going to have Laurel and Taylor do a song for you guys. And we'll be back after the break to talk about your writing and performing process.
Yeah, we're back.
All right. We're going to do a tune. It's called Ask for Help. Pretty self-explanatory in the lyrics. I think y'all figure it out. But it's going to be on the new album, and it's featuring a beautiful gospel singer, Leon Timbo from Florida, who we met at Hillside when we were doing the gospel hour. He such a powerful singer and felt like a really good person to collab with on this, so they're excited.
I'm gonna do Leon's part.
You're gonna do Leon's.
No big deal.
No pressure.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You're amazing. So it's gonna be great.
I'm already great.
Here we go. I reached out today. After we drained a few bottles, I admitted all the sorrow that lived in me. How I felt pressed against the glass, watching love and color pass, but couldn't participate. Then I took another swig. I said it just overwhelmed. The yoke of guilt is so huge, and I can't ever conclude what I'm worried about. And when I laugh out loud, the sound activates the collar and it shocks me back down. Says I don't deserve to smile. And I get that it's mine, and the world deserves to shine with or without me. So while the party's raging on, I remain a distant star at my apogee. And I'm not sure what I'm asking, I'm not putting you to task or trying to fix me. I guess I just need some help. Why can't anybody ask for help? Your discomfort is palpable. Your feet are shuffling neath the table as you peel off a label and attempt console. Some nihilistic tribe, how we're all just gonna die, so might as well let it roll. Then you take another swig. My worries metastasize. Try to backpedal fast, stutter laughs and retractions, but I die inside. I ripped my guts wide open, and the solace I've been hoping for left me high and dry. So I stuffed them all back inside. As we parted strange ways, I am left long in memories of a gentler kind, where we all understand and the lost are not damned to be left behind. Such a fool to expect that you just fully get it, and can anybody ask for help?
I'm sorry to call so late. I'm ashamed at how we left. You were honest and bereft, just wanting to shed weight. You made a soulful admission, but I opted for obsession and a callous escape. You deserve so much more than that. In truth, I was terrified. I resonate with what you said so much, the existential dread came on like a landslide. I felt ill-equipped to aid since I was going through the same, so I chose not to confide. I regret doing that to you. And I want you to know that you're never all alone walking through this life. You're not crazy or morose, even though you feel a ghost screaming in your mind. You deserve to feel peace, and while I cannot fully ease you, oh damn it, I will try. Does any of this help? Why can't anybody ask for help?
All right, we are back today talking to Laurel Minus and Taylor Hulley from Minuscule and also independent projects. We're so excited to have you guys. This has been amazing so far. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
I wanted to kind of pivot and talk a little bit about your writing process. Taylor, if you want to go first, kind of how you sit down at a desk and start to write a song.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Laurel and I have very different processes for sure. Not really very collaborative, I would say. Like with the Minuscule stuff, they kind of come to Laurel, and I mean, you'll speak to that later. But yeah, for me, it's just when I find the time, or it kind of hits you. You're at work or you're driving home, and generally I'll hear like a rhythm or some kind of like the words are like the very last thing that come, and that's the part I struggle with the most. Knowing what to say and like what is my voice, what am I trying to get out there, which a lot easier with your stuff, it seems like the vulnerability. But typically my process is like sit down, get it all out, get the guitar, start to hash out the tune, and then about halfway start to hate myself in the song.
Of course.
And be like, I stole this lick from that guy, and like, this song is garbage. And then I get rid of it, and then I rediscover it like 6 months later. I'm like, this is pretty good. Yeah. And then I revive the zombie song, and or somebody else will be like, well, that song, whatever happened to that? I like that one. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe maybe it doesn't suck. And then it comes back to life, and then you play it, and people are like, "Hey, that was great." And you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Mm-hmm. So convincing myself that it's good is part of my process for sure. That one,
Sure. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But I think it's different for you for sure.
I mean, I feel like it's the same process, but I think I maybe just like put parameters on myself so that I'm not like overwhelmed with all of the vast possibilities of what something could be. And I come to a tune like, I would like this to be about this. So often there will be a collection of voice memos that are just me humming melodies, and it's most of the time when I'm driving is when that happens. So it'll just be like I'm going to lose this ball over and just like blah, 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 blah. Or often it'll also be like when we're at a show, like we're watching something and there's like a chord, a fall or something that happens to like, and I'm a big advocate for when the muse comes, you just listen. You don't have to drop everything and just like, I gotta go do this right now.
I quit my job. Bye.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a song to write.
Just enough to just duck into the bathroom and just like document whatever you think the thing that's gonna like when you listen to it, like, oh yes, right. When you do have time to sit down and flesh it out. So like, I don't really allow myself to like write new songs until I've finished or close to finished projects, and having this album, you know, being released shortly, I finally unconstipated myself and allowed myself to be able to write again and actually be able to take the time to sit down. Because anytime that I'm sitting down to work on music, it's like, I should be like listening to current mixes or like closing the book on this current thing before I allow myself to work on the next thing. But definitely I have a collection of voice memos with melodies and rhythms and things that are just sort of like na, 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 humming, and then I have ideas of I would like to write a song in the style of Joni Mitchell. I would like to write a song about the climate crisis. I would like to, and a list of just like mentally what things that I'd like to kind of process via song, and then I will match one of those things with the other of like what makes sense. And often I will start matching and be like to grab another one and like, no, this is a better fit for this particular topic, and then just flesh it out from there lyrically.
Yeah, that's something I think I've learned from you, of like actually more intentionally trying to like have an idea when you go into the songwriting, as opposed to just, you know, got up and put my socks on and it's sunny. What to sing about?
There is a place for those songs too, you know, of just like.
But it opens up. It actually kind of puts it into a box, which makes it a little bit easier because you can write about whatever. But like that song I was playing last night, where it's basically is written from the perspective of our cat that was left home alone with the TV on, and how he experiences loneliness through, you know, the things that they've seen on the TV. It suddenly makes it like, oh, okay, now there's like a frame around this.
For
and like
a
you can
limited time I could buy a hatchback. Really think I need the all-wheel drive. And just like, this is how you're learning about the human world of, like what a cool idea.
And when you start from having like an idea, it does kind of
it flows a lot easier.
It limits the everythingness to just like, okay, let's make this thing happen. Yeah, I learned that from you for sure. Yeah, it does help for sure.
Yeah.
If anybody's like, where do I start with songwriting or something? I mean, that can be a big block for me of like, the lyrics are tough. But if you kind of sit with an idea first and then.
Yeah, totally. Putting restrictions on stuff can make it almost more inspiring sometimes, or just guide you better, I guess.
And anytime you start to like veer, you're like, no. We can do that other thing in a different song, in a different painting, in a different, you know, but this particular one isn't about every possible thing. It's about this thing. And once you start veering off, it's like, make note. We'll make a song about that.
Next one.
Yeah.
And to challenge yourself to like, you know, like I was asking, how do you write these songs not from just your perspective, and like, you know, create a character in your head, or, you know, this scenario, or because often I think, well, it's too literal. It's too like autobiographical
obvious,
or something.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, well, it can be, you know, you expressing emotions through another lens and able to say things that like wouldn't really make sense for my own voice, but to like you say, create a character and then tell the story from their point of view. I think that was something you taught me that did help to kind of break down some barriers and give you some inspiration.
Yeah, I think it makes it like less weird, right? Because you're just like, everyone's looking at me and judging me for like what I'm saying.
Right, yeah,
but you're like, but it's not me. It's this other guy, you know? It's that guy that they're like looking at. So it does give you a lot more like creative freedom. And like, I think it's also just like a really great visualization technique. It gives you relatability. You're just like, oh, what's that person going through? What if I was them?
That
what are
is
they
exactly
feeling?
how the Queen came about, which is going to be a feature track on this album that's coming out. But it was like me being like, oh, I am so tired of just being my own worst enemy and just being like, you suck. You suck. Like, what's the opposite of that? Okay, let's imagine this like glorious creature that is just takes no shit from nobody and just is so in their power. Like, what? Let's just dream up this character and write a song from their perspective so that I can come back to that place and embody that and get comfortable with what it feels like to be that, because it does feel uncomfortable to start to change learned behaviors of just being small, being quiet, and don't make sure to keep everybody happy and their needs come before. Like, relearning that will feel awkward, but if you come from it like, and we're putting on the queen crown now, it helps, and it can feel like, oh, this so isn't me, but it's like, it so isn't me yet. It slowly is becoming, the more that I put myself into that and try it on and see how it fits. So that exact, like, create a character, even if it feels like, oh, I would never say this. It's like, but see how it feels saying it, so that you can get comfortable with the idea of, it being you.
And I think, Taylor, you brought up a good point where, like, as an artist, we are our worst critic.
Oh,
we give everyone else all this grace, and then we just shit all over ourselves.
So true.
Like, why? Why do we do it? Because, we're scrolling out, we're like, that person's awesome. This person's amazing.
That person's also had 40 takes to be able to pick the, and it's an airbrush filter, and it's like, we have to really be discerning of, like, what are we looking at? It is the polished version of somebody that they also agonized over whether or not to even post that. They're not posting the outtakes of, like, oh, I'd really duffed that, or we only get the shiny version. So it's,
and I think even beside that, it's still just the forgiveness that we give other people, right?
You would never
100%.
say that to anybody else, but you say it to yourself.
I went to this. We went to our son's piano recital last night, and there was girls up there just belting it out, like they are so off tune. I'm like, you're doing amazing. I'm so excited.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, nobody's out there for you to fail. Like,
they're not hoping that you're gonna suck. They want you to
grow. And come into it. Feel
try
good.
Things like you don't have to be perfect. People are on board to just be like, oh, good for you. Getting out there, amazing.
You're already great.
Exactly.
Actually, I think the Bahamas show was a good example of that, where he started this song and he's in the wrong chord and he's just, hang on, I gotta stop. And he's halfway into the first verse, he's like, that wasn't right, and goes and tunes his guitar and then comes back and nails the song. And just for him to just be like, I'm giving myself the forgiveness. I didn't hit it perfectly. It's okay not to be spotless and polished. And and I actually, it's such a memorable moment for me of just like, oh yeah, like imperfection, that vulnerability is strength kind of thing.
Endearing.
Like, okay, I'm not perfect.
We say that a lot with the podcast, because I think we're going to see it more and more as we keep getting into this more and more time of AI, where we're just we're so attached. Like, we want it so bad to feel human, and we want to feel the humanness in other people. So, like, I was saying that to him. I was like, when all of a sudden, you're listening to someone and they are polished, they're speaking perfect, and it's really edited, and you hear this like weird kind of thing in their voice, and right away your brain picks up on it. It ignored the whole first half. Someone's lecturing and they're like amazing, they're nailing it, and you're like, and then all of a sudden they'll say something quirky, and you're like, that's great.
The little flaws
they
that
fumble
make it.
too.
Yes.
We all fumble, and like, it's okay. So I think as an artist, I think it is it's really like embracing that human part, the emotion, the mistakes, all the things.
It's funny you say that, because Laurel at her job last week got accused of being AI on the phone.
I do bookings for Vintage Hotels, so like I have a very like, thank you for calling Vintage Hotels. This is Laurel. It's just like, front desk. I'm like, hello, ma'am. He's like, you're AI. I'm like, what? No, my name is Laurel. What do you mean? I don't believe you. And it was like, I had to convince someone of my humanity, and it was so jarring, but
That's
also while still
wild.
like not swearing at them and being like, "You want to see
Yo,
AI,
bro."
bitch?" Like, it was not. It was jarring, and it was the first time that I'd interfaced with, like, obviously she probably had an experience where she was burned, and I want to like give space for that, but also like, come on, man, like, really. So
No, I think we are desperate. That's the word I was thinking of. I think we're all desperate for it. We're so now getting commonly tricked and commonly facaded with this like perfect, the image looks perfect, the sound looks perfect,
right.
the art's perfect, that we're just desperate for that human, mistake. We're desperate for that human imperfection. So I think we're going to see it more and more as like an artist to just like let it out, let it hang out, because that's what people are really identifying with now more and more. Yeah. 100%. Okay, the hardest question that I ever ask artists, and they just stare blankly at me. What was your favorite performance?
All right. I did think of mine, yeah.
You did? Okay.
So, back a couple of years out of high school, we had a festival that we put on in Niagara on the Lake called Peace in the Park. And it was like this band shell downtown, Simcoe Park, Niagara on the Lake. Had a band, Starlight Lounge, with Whitney P. and Josh and Trav. And we're out there rocking. It's all your friends out in the grass. And we had a guy that owned like a roses company. And he climbed up on the roof of the band shell. There's people all dancing. He's like tossing rose petals out. So we're playing this song in the summertime, and like it's raining rose petals on all my friends that were dancing. I think for me that one's like burned in my brain of like, I think I might be peaking right now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that one's
That's pretty good.
Roses just falling from the
falling
sky.
Petals.
Is this real?
That's okay. That's pretty good. There are so many for so many different reasons, but I keep coming back to kind of the playing at the Aeolian, which is a beautiful old hall in London, and it was the last stop on the Great Lakes Swimmers Tour, and it had taken place over like a couple dates in May, and then a couple over the summer, and then the fall. So we had been like in it for 6 months or so, and this was the last one. And right before we're about to leave, one of the band members calls and said, "I've got COVID, man, I can't do it." And we were doing it as a 5-piece. My dad on keys, Taylor drums, me uke, and then we had Tara and Jill and Kat singing. And Kat had to drop out. So we, in the car on the way there, are just like, okay, what parts are we missing? They're listening to ISOs on their phones, just kind of like trying to like switch parts on the drive to London. And it was just that like the chaos of it, but the fact that we rallied, and it wasn't our strongest set by any means, but the audience was so with us. And it was like, again, speaking to that, like, nobody wants you to fail. Everybody's here to witness your humanity and cheer you on, and like, and we did a song, Grim City, which we don't get to do very often. It's just kind of like living and dying in a small town, and it was like pin drop. It was pin drop in there, and we just, it was maybe our second time ever doing the song, and we just did it, and everybody was so like stood a standing ovation, like just the most receptive, beautiful crowd. And we went backstage, and we all just like kind of collapsed into this group hug and just like sobbed. And we were just, it was this like sadness that this tour was over, but relief that like we can do such hard things. We are so capable. And it just felt like, such a powerful moment. But not for like, no, we really nailed that. It wasn't that. It was just, a needed reminder of like who we are and why we do this. That one definitely sticks out for sure.
I love that. That like both of your favorite performances were, like those moments that were really, building your resilience, where you're just like, this might be the best moment of my life, this might be it for us. Or like that, you overcome something that was like really difficult. And it's wild when you reflect back as an artist, a lot of times it's not the most when you're the most successful. It's when you're the most scared that you're like, that was great. We did it. We were so panicked and so fearful, but like we came out of it. So yeah, I love that both of those are like the things that stick out to you, because I think it's really common for artists to kind of feel that way. Yeah, again, we're talking a lot about kind of the emotional part. Do you think that the emotional part of like your songwriting is the most difficult part, and then kind of compare the writing process to the performing? So I'm just kind of imagining, the ability to write something really emotional, and then the difference between that and the performing of it.
I feel like that is a muscle that I've worked out a lot in the last couple years, so it comes really naturally to me now. I have no problem being emotional, being vulnerable on stage. It's a really comfortable place for me. Songs are kind of the place where I feel the most comfortable to just like barf it out and see what happens. I feel like the emotional aspect is so intrinsic to the way that I write songs. I typically don't write a song until I feel a strong emotion and have to just like sit with it and sort it out. Sometimes I've been like, I wish we had more like summertime jams that are just like, play it on your boat, and and just walk out. Yeah, something that like, but all of it tends to have like it's some sort of like, even Nice Guy, which is like, mid-tempo, sort of just like, it's just easy, smooth listening, but even it is about like abuse, like relationships and just like toxic dynamics and trying to like. So even when it just like musically is like, oh, this is nice, but then it's just
you
like,
listen to the words,
misogyny, like I can't not.
Can't help myself.
Yeah.
All right, I have one more question, and then we're gonna find out what you guys are up to next. But yeah, I'm curious, Taylor. What do you hope that your listeners get away from? You can talk individually or your group project. What do you hope your listeners walk away from with? Wow, I did not help that question. What do you hope your listeners feel from your music?
My stuff is a little less literal and emotional. I think it is actually a little bit more the like escapism type of like, life is hard and let's have a moment where we can just groove and feel good. And that's another way of bringing people together in like a community. We have more in common than we have different. So for me, starting with the drums and then, kind of meeting Phil Davis and learning like the native drums and the Dawagon, the big drum, which is like the heartbeat, and how that kind of connects people. Yeah, just really stripping it back down to, that collective similarity that we all share. And I think, the drums are the instrument for me that really resonates across different groups of people. And if I can make music that has that strong rhythm, that's that sort of feeling that we can all nod our heads at the same time and like we're connected. So less literal through the actual lyrics, but more just connecting through the rhythm, I would say.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, so you mentioned that there's a new album. Thank God.
I will keep doing it.
I'll listen to your repertoire over and over again. But
it's coming. So
we need more.
We haven't announced it yet, but we'll announce it with you guys that album release will be May 21st. That's a Thursday.
Yay!
It's going to be at Halliwell Hall.
New venue
which
downtown
is
St. Catharines.
on St. Paul. It's a beautiful space. They've done a really, really, really good job.
We were just there on Friday.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's so thoughtfully like put together and acoustically. It's a great space.
It's so exciting.
And Kian's been just so accommodating and Rob. So we're going to do that. And Soft Animals is going to open. I love Sean. I love her songwriting. It's going to be fun time, and we are, a lot of these songs we've been playing live for a number of years, so people will maybe have already heard them, like Queen, Embarrassment, Rising Up. Like we've done them live for a while, but there are some that people will have never heard.
Amazing.
So, yeah, we're pretty stoked. We're pretty stoked about that. It's been a journey. I'll be very happy for it to be out in the world and then to be doing its good.
Celebrating, yeah. More songs for me to cry in the car over.
There's a new one.
More songs for my daughter to kick tables over. The other day I was like, she's gonna tip the kitchen table over.
I was thinking that like Elmo on fire meme.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, amazing. Any upcoming shows other than that people can check you out?
We're gonna be kind of hibernating a little bit.
North by.
North by.
Allowed to say that yet?
We're allowed to announce it, but we don't know what our venue or date is yet.
Okay.
So, but we're gonna play North by Northeast in Toronto in June
Amazing.
sometime. So keep an eye on all the socials for that.
Yay.
And that's what's going on.
Good, and good for you. You're gonna take some time off.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be at some winery patio somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
We kind of do our duo stuff on the weekends, so
Yeah.
a lot of different gigs. If you go to laurelandhulley.com, that has our calendar of where we're at for the duo stuff, at least.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Perfect. Any other Instagram handles that people can find you at?
At Minuscule Music. And Minuscule can be spelt two ways, M-I-N-I or M-I-N-U. We spell it M-I-N-U. So Minuscule.
I've been spelling it wrong.
Minuscule Music.
I'll fix it.
Minusculemusic.com or at Minuscule Music on all of the various things. We also have a newsletter. Go to the Linktree if you want to not get your updates via social media. We will send you recipes and pictures of cats and things like that.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We are going to have you guys play some music, but it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming.
Our pleasure.
It's
Thank
fun.
you. Thank you. Cool. You want to tell the story?
Yeah, we roll. This song is called "Drop to Drink." It's the third song off of our soon to be released Laurel and Hulley album.
Yeah.
And it's all recorded, and we have a music video that we shot on vacation in Nicaragua, which looks really cool. Maybe tonight we'll release it.
Yeah.
This will be our inspiration to actually get it done. Yeah. If not now.
Nice.
When?
Yeah. So it's called "Drop to Drink." Now that we got here, had a chance to look around. Now that we've seen it through a couple of ups and downs, I just don't think I could take it all in. The sound of the storm, the rage against the wind, it pulls you in. Phoenix spreads her wings so thin, man, it kinda makes you think. There's water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Now that we made it, it was such a thrill. It doesn't seem so unsound, pushing that stone up the hill. I just don't know what to make of it all. The strength and the beauty that makes the waterfall seem so small. Phoenix spreads her wings so thin, man, it kinda makes you think. And there's water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink.
credits are rolling, the screen is turning black. It's the honor of knowing, but it's a courtesy it lacks. Can't see the future, can't take it with you, cannot change the past now that it's over. The phoenix spreads her wings so thin, man, it kinda makes you think. There's water, water everywhere.
Water, water everywhere.
Water, water everywhere.
Water, water everywhere.
There's water, water everywhere. So pour yourself a drink.